Lesson 5. Managing Tantrums Using Consequence Interventions. Welcome to our lesson on managing tantrums through consequence interventions. In this video, we will understand how to manage tantrums when they occur, including effective use of consequences and de-escalation techniques. By learning to apply consequence interventions appropriately, you can help reduce tantrums over time. What are consequence interventions? Consequence interventions are strategies used to respond to behavior after it occurs. These interventions can reinforce desired behaviors or reduce undesired ones, helping to shape your child's actions over time. There are several types of consequence interventions: natural consequences, logical consequences, timeout, response cost, positive reinforcement. Natural consequences. Natural consequences involve letting the natural result of the behavior occur. For example, if a child refuses to wear a coat on a cold day, they may feel cold and decide to wear it next time. Natural consequences help children learn from the outcomes of their actions. Logical consequences. Logical consequences are directly related to the behavior and help teach responsibility. For instance, if a child throws toys, a logical consequence would be having them help pick up the toys. This type of consequence teaches children the impact of their actions and encourages accountability. Timeout. Timeout is a consequence intervention that involves briefly removing the child from the situation where the tantrum occurred. This strategy helps the child calm down and reflect on their behavior. Timeouts should be brief and followed by a discussion about the behavior and alternative actions. Think about a child named Mia who throws a tantrum. By placing Mia in a timeout area for 2 minutes immediately after the tantrum occurs, you are using timeout to decrease the tantrum behavior. Response cost. Response cost involves removing a privilege or item when the child engages in tantrums. For example, if a child loses playtime for throwing a tantrum, this can discourage the behavior by associating it with a negative outcome. Consider a child named Jake who has a reward chart. By removing a token from Jake's chart every time he does not follow instructions, you are using response cost to decrease this problem behavior. Positive reinforcement. While consequence interventions often focus on reducing undesired behaviors, it's equally important to reinforce positive behaviors. Positive reinforcement involves rewarding the child when they display appropriate behavior, encouraging them to repeat these actions. Consider a child named Ella who is learning to play quietly. By providing a sticker for every 10 minutes of quiet play, you are using positive reinforcement to encourage her to continue this behavior. Implementing consequence interventions. Implementing consequence interventions involves several steps. First, choose an appropriate consequence that is related to the behavior. Then, consistently apply the consequence each time the behavior occurs. Follow up with a discussion about the behavior and how to make better choices in the future. Practical tips and techniques. Here are some practical tips for using consequence interventions. Choose meaningful and effective consequences for your child. Apply consequences consistently and immediately after the problem behavior. Understand and balance the use of positive and negative reinforcement with other consequence interventions. By following these tips, you can effectively manage and reduce problem behaviors. Homework assignments. Your homework assignments for this lesson include completing the consequence planning worksheet to develop a plan for applying consequences for your child's specific tantrums. Implement the plan over a week and record the results using the consequence interventions tracking sheet. Practicing the application of consequence interventions consistently over a set period. That's all for today's lesson. To summarize, consequence interventions include using natural and logical consequences to teach responsibility and reduce tantrums. Additionally, reinforcing positive behavior with rewards encourages your child to repeat these actions, promoting positive behavior change. Thank you for watching. Before you leave, please complete a brief quiz to see what you already learned about this lesson.